What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys watched the last video, then you guys are very aware that today we are going to be looking at Carlos's recently 1.5J swapped Mark III Supra. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, this is Carlos's engine bay. Looks very nice. The camera, however, does do it a little bit of extra justice, but we are going to be cleaning this up just a little bit today. As I mentioned, you know, if you watched the last video, then you guys also know that Carlos and I got stranded on I-5 on the way back from LA for roughly about, like, I want to say like 6 or 7 hours. Why? Very good question. Weirdly enough, while we were in LA picking up the car was running fine, the car was running perfect. But weirdly enough, on I-5, we ended up running into a huge electrical surge that actually ended up frying the alternator, as well as like over 13 fuses inside multiple fuse boxes. It was just a whole complete mess. And yeah, I mean, Carlos and I basically had to drive the car back home. Zero taillights, zero headlights, zero interior lights, windows didn't work. Like nothing was working the way that it should have, but the car ran after replacing the alternator on the side of the road. Luckily, we had Carlos's brother who was actually following us. So, you know, we had another car. We were able to run to a local AutoZone basically and limp the car there, and then replace the alternator with, you know, an IS300 alternator so that we could at least get the car running and charging. Point is, I mean, the car's just freshly swapped and we've already been running into quite a few issues. We're going to be trying to kind of deal with those today. On top of that, you know, just kind of take some of the imperfections and some of the things that could have been done better, and we're just going to try to make them better overall. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of work ahead of us, and we're just going to be doing a lot of that. A lot of it is electrical. Thankfully, we did actually have the chance to diagnose a lot of it this past weekend. So, you know, we've had the chance to actually, you know, diagnose and figure out what went wrong with Carlos's car. So he ordered a bunch of electrical stuff last week, and everything came in, so whenever we needed it, it was there. We're missing one last component, which is known as an integration relay with these is integration relay, right? With the 87 Supras. So we found that it was like completely fried. So obviously, for those of you guys who are maybe a little bit familiar with Supras, you guys, or the Mark IIIs, you guys know that the integration relay, like the chances of it failing is like super like minimal. Like I've never ever heard of that.
It was so hard that I had to go through hours on the Supra forums in order to find anything talking about an integration relay.
So it's like, you know, it's super weird that gave out, but that just kind of goes more into like to show you guys, right, that the electrical surge that we had like was massive. So point is, there's a bunch of little things that we're going to be going over today that I will also be showing in this video that, you know, we want to go ahead and just kind of fix up, clean up, make sure that it is done properly. So then that way this car is in tip-top shape for a car show that Carlos and I will be attending this weekend with my Supra and with his. Carlos, we've been putting in some work. You want to catch some people up on what you've been doing today, bro?
Compounding, washing, or actually just compounding the entire engine. Off from the firewall all around. It was dusty as hell. I mean, out of 34 years, you know, it's kind of time to actually do all this stuff. Now, tomorrow's gonna be polishing, maybe the Mother Maguire's wax, maybe. And then after that, do the whole hood up here. If you see, it's all disgusting looking. We may take off this. By the time I order the dyno mat, it's not gonna be here on time. But for sure, I'm probably gonna take this off, make the whole hood look a lot prettier, and then we're gonna get to the rest of the car. The interior is already flawless, so I don't gotta worry about that. Just a little cleaning, a little vacuum because of my dog inside.
So yeah, excuse the sombrero, but you know, when it's sunny out, we gotta protect ourselves. But you know, just kind of some of the things that we were talking about, you know, electrically, I mean, there's stuff that's just kind of, you know, out and open, and obviously, you know, we got to fix those. If you guys see some of this green tape, it's because I have instructions on how to actually fix this stuff. It looks like the original 4 gauge wire goes down into a smaller 8 gauge wire, which, you know, honestly should never happen. And it looks like it is a nut and a bolt basically holding the wires together. So we're gonna go ahead and fix all that, because that, you know, like I said, never happened. You never want to do this. And then we have the same thing here where we have a 4 gauge white wire going to a smaller 8 gauge wire, which goes to the starter. So we're gonna just, you know, take this off and then you know, splice and crimp a full 4 gauge wire going all the way to the starter, the way that it should have been from the beginning. And then something that we also added is a nice little coolant reservoir. So Carlos ordered this off of Amazon. It's just going to be temporary until we figure out what we want to do with, you know, something maybe a little bit nicer or name brand.
Make it look a lot cleaner after, but this is just temporary.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we found one of the bolts that actually, there's a like a nice little thread right here on the side of it, and this basically bolted right in, doesn't hit the hood after we drilled an extra hole just to kind of make sure it was nice and flush and sit, you know, here. So we'll be adding a coolant reservoir because that also was left out, but it's okay, you know, not a big deal. We'll make sure that there's no overheating issues, and then in the event where, you know, coolant wants to expand, it's not shooting it out onto the engine and it's actually going into a proper reservoir. So, you know, we've done some pretty good progress today, or at least Carlos has. I've been actually working on my car. If you guys see me anytime soon, you guys will see what I've been doing. But basically, this is Carlos's project for the next couple days. The show is in, so today's Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so literally less than 4 days away we have a show, and we want to make sure that this thing is in tip top shape. As we said, we don't want any issues. We want to make sure that Carlos can drive this reliably and not have to worry about the leaks and stuff. So we got some work to put in, my boy.
The day is still not over. After this, I'm heading to the gym, but once I get home, I'm painting the steering wheel, I'm painting side mirrors, painting some few other stuff. So I'm still gonna be working at home for this car. Probably not gonna go to sleep till midnight, and I might not be able to hop on COD tonight.
You know, that's kind of a big deal, bro, but you got to make sacrifices, right? You guys see it. We want to make sure this thing, like I said, is in tip-top shape. We want to make sure it's good. So far everything has been great. Obviously we're going to be running into some issues eventually. At the moment, we're trying to figure out how we can relocate this fuse box to right here so that it can look a lot cleaner, and then I'm going to try to fix up some of this wiring right here and just make it look a lot cleaner and nicer so that it's not just wires pretty much hanging everywhere. But nonetheless, Carlos is doing really, really great. For those of you guys who might want to know what the inside of his car looks like, once again, we've been working a lot on this car, so you know, it's not going to be the cleanest right now. So I promise this thing is almost immaculate. Right now we have a bunch of wires exposed because we've been doing diagnosis on basically everything that's been going on, as I mentioned, but Carlos has done a really good job. Yes,
my buddy's been there for 5 years, going strong. He's never came off.
If you guys have met Carlos, you guys know. You guys just know. Carlos's car is looking good, it's looking clean, and we're really, really excited to basically show you guys everything that we've been working towards when it comes to the car shows. But in the meantime, I think this is where we're gonna end this video. I know it was a little bit shorter than maybe what was anticipated, but we want to get a lot of work done. I promise I'll pick up the camera again tomorrow. We will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. Remember to stay tuned. Yo.